Hey brides, welcome back to another episode of the Bridal Coach podcast, where you come for real, genuine advice on how to look and feel your best on your wedding day. I'm very excited about today's episode because we are joined by a special guest, Kira Gill, the founder of the UK's largest crystal healing company, My Sacred Soul. And today we're going to be talking about her journey from influencer to crystal healer and all things health and fitness. Kira has gone through her own journey with PCOS, endometriosis, and also health conditions as well that she's going to be talking about in today's episode. I cannot wait for you to hear about it and hear about a holistic journey. She's now in her bridal era, so I cannot wait for this conversation, and I'm so excited for you guys to hear it. So stay tuned and I hope you enjoy. I feel like we have a lot of topics to cover, but I want to start the 5 year ago Kira Gill, the influencer Kira Gill, because you was that influencer.
Was that girl?
You was that girl. You was fashion influencer, now turned crystal healer. So how did that all start? Like turning into the influencer space and becoming that girl. I know you don't use the word influencer, but you was. Like when did your following start blowing up?
So when I was 17, I was under 10k. I remember that because I remember people that I went to school with, they'd be like, oh, like, look at her. Like, because you're doing what's not normal. Do you know what I mean? Back then, people didn't see Instagram as a thing.
Yeah, now it's way more.
And I didn't see it as a thing. I was just genuinely just having a bit of fun. Like, I didn't expect it to blow up. And then I remember people at school, like, taking the piss of it. And it didn't bother me because I just kind of thought, like, well, I just kind of thought, like...
Was it girls taking the piss? Or was it guys?
100% girls. Like,
Never any guys,
literally didn't care. So back then I had under 10k, and then I think when we was during lockdown, I hit 50k.
Oh my gosh.
Like, early on in lockdown.
Why do you feel like that was? Had you, like... Because, like, we didn't have much to do. Was you doing more content?
Oh yeah, I had nothing else to do.
Yeah.
Like, we were stuck at home, so I just stuck at it. It gave me something to do. I dragged my sisters around the house, like, with my ring light and my this and my that. They loved it.
Wait, so for those who don't know, like, what kind of stuff was you posting back then?
So back then, it was on my Instagram, like, on my feed, it was fashion, makeup, girly stuff. On my stories, I always showed my personality, which would have been more like spiritual and like just me, like how you know me now, but I didn't show that on my feed. So it was very easy to come across my page and look at me and think one thing, whereas if you stuck around, you'd get to see that actually I shared more than that.
So the followers knew who you were,
but people that didn't follow me didn't know. And like when I was in school, like sixth form, I was genuinely posting like mental health stuff, like things that, as you know, are important to me now. That's what I was sharing. And then along the way, I've always loved fashion. Like some of my oldest friends, they say, like, they used to remember me on like non-uniform day, and I was like, that girl.
That other girl. I would turn up in tracksuit bottoms and like, I'd be like, this is the best thing ever. I have the opportunity to wear a tracksuit. But you?
Yeah, I was like dressed up, like, but it was just natural to me. Like even as a kid, like my mum always used to say, I never knew what I wanted for dinner, but I knew how I wanted my hair, and I knew what I wanted to wear. And she always laughs because now you can ask me what I want for dinner, and the answer is still I don't know. Yeah. Like I've always just been like that.
But we just went and did your hair.
I know how I want my hair, but I don't know what I want to eat.
That's funny.
So yeah,
that's very interesting because I like the fact that you just told me about how different your feed was to your Instagram. I didn't know that.
Oh, didn't you?
No. Because I think, like, it's like, what you know when they say you can remember the last film that you watched, but you can't remember the last, like, reel that you watched. I mean, you probably could, because you send them to me. But, like, you could probably name me the last film or book that you read, but you couldn't name me the last TikTok that you... last TikTok video that you saw. It's probably like that, because, like, I saw that image of you for years, but, like, those stories that you post, they stay for 24 hours.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's like I looked at those pictures of you and you were that girl, but on your story you were posting more like what you're
about me.
Yeah, what was important to you and stuff. But that was like, yeah, to hear you say that, because I didn't think that you would have posted stuff like that back then.
That's how my Instagram started. So when I was 17, I was really anxious and I was really depressed, and I've always loved quotes. Like, I've always just loved that kind of stuff. And I was literally on Instagram posting things about mental health. I was posting things that made me feel better. Like, every day I would look for like a positive quote for me to resonate with for the day, and every day I would post it. And I think people like that, because then people started responding and engaging, and that's genuinely how my Instagram started.
Because people could resonate.
But it was always on my stories.
Right.
On my feed, I still posted things that I wanted to share, but I didn't post them quotes onto my feed. So then I was always posting like mental health, things about literally like anything that I found useful, I was sharing. But then because on my feed, I was posting pictures of me, it kind of grew, but for two different reasons.
Yeah,
Does that make
that's what
sense?
I'm thinking as well, because like when I think back to the Kira girl that you was 5 years ago, say, because you were still that girl like posting fashion and stuff like that, I feel like you're a completely different person now.
100%.
You've grown so much. Like, would you say that your life was much different back then?
I would say the only word that comes to mind is the fact that I was young, because I think age makes you see things differently, and I think with time and experiences you see things differently. But also I think back then I was young, I had nothing to do, we were in lockdown, so I just did what I fancied. Like, there wasn't really anything about it, and I think I always had an end goal of like, I want to get to this point, or I wanted 100k followers, and then I was like, cool, I'm done.
Yeah, once you hit that
because
point.
to me that was something to work towards. I was in a really bad place, and it gave me a goal. It was the only thing that I could kind of focus on that allowed me to be creative. It gave me purpose to get up, to post, to do this, to do that, to share things, because one, I wanted to help people that were struggling as well, but two, it gave me a purpose, which at the time I didn't have. So, and I think also that's really important, is when you're going through something like anxiety and depression, you tend to feel lost very easily. And I think when I look back at where I am now compared to where I was, I think I was just young. I was just young and lost.
But as you said as well, like, you had something to work towards. I guess you fell into the influencer space because you're very beautiful.
Oh, thanks.
You were actually like, you put yourself into it. You dragged your sisters out to like go take pictures of you and
I'll
stuff.
never forget that.
Yeah.
They hated it.
I'm sure they
Absolutely
don't
hated
forget it either.
I think at one point my dad was like holding the ring light and everything. He'd be like, you should take a picture here, and you should do this.
Why
and
are
you should
dads
do
always
that.
so good at that?
I know.
I love their input, but did you ever actually use it?
I did.
Really?
I genuinely did. Like, my whole family was so supportive, and they would always say, oh, like, my daughter's an influencer, like, my daughter does this, and I'd be like, oh, like, shoot me. But, like, I think for them, they saw me struggling so much, and it gave me a purpose. It gave me something to look forward to. So for them, they were supportive.
Something for you to like throw yourself into, be a bit creative, and it was like an outlet for you to just kind of be yourself.
That's it. It was an outlet.
Yeah. You was an influencer at 17. You started your crystal journey at 17. What was the spark for the crystal journey? Like, for people who don't even know what crystals are, what they mean, how they helped you, I guess, like, what even are crystals?
So crystals, when they're formed with different minerals. And what makes a rock and a crystal different is that when they're formed, a crystal is like hit, bashed, or it's given some sort of form of an electromagnetic field. So you know the same way that we have auras?
Yeah.
Our
energy.
auras are electromagnetic fields.
Right.
So a rock is just a rock. It doesn't have a current, whereas a crystal does. If you was to look inside a crystal, you would see tiny, 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 tiny atoms. But if you looked in our cells, what are we made up of? Atoms.
Yeah.
So each crystal holds its different ability through the mineral that it's formed by. So like amethyst and citrine, they're different because they're made from different minerals. But if I put a citrine next to you, its electromagnetic current is going to resonate with yours. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But if I put a rock next to you, you're not going to benefit from that. It's got no current.
Okay, so how did you even like start to learn about this stuff? Was it a case of like you was struggling with your mental health and with life? You know, everyone goes through struggles, but you lent to crystals as your healer.
I tried a lot of different things. Like, I went down the route of the doctors, therapy. I never wanted to go on medication. That was something that I just didn't want to do. I tried pretty much everything apart from that. And nothing helped.
And drugs?
No, not drugs.
Oh, wait, I guess medication is drugs.
Yeah, why would I try drugs?
I just wanted to... You were like, I've tried everything. I just wanted to make
The only thing I haven't tried is ayahuasca, okay? Literally, that is it.
I would, though. Don't tempt me.
I don't know. It brings out the worst in people.
Yeah,
so the
no,
best.
let's not get into that. I did actually go through a bit of a spiral, like, when I first figured out what ayahuasca was.
Really?
Yeah, and have you seen that? Like, is it Catherine McBroom? Like, you know the Ace family?
No.
You don't know who the Ace family are?
No.
The Ace family.
No, who's
if
the
I
Ace
say it another
family?
time, will you know? The Ace family.
I don't know who that is.
What? They're like the biggest YouTubing family. I mean, the parents have now split up now, but...
I don't watch YouTube like that.
No,
I watch Molly May and that's
okay, do you know who Kylie Jenner is?
Yeah, but that's different.
Oh, but do you watch... What are they called? Keeping Up with the Kardashians? You probably do.
Yeah.
Do you?
And that's old news. It's called The Kardashians now.
Oh, yeah, no, I don't watch it. But, okay, anyways. I saw a post about ayahuasca. I hadn't, like, heard of it in such a long time. I probably first heard about it a couple of years ago, did some research, and then, yeah, it just went silent. But, yeah, there's some, like, weird shit going on with YouTubers and ayahuasca and, like, children doing it and stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not good.
Apparently, oh, my gosh, this isn't a gossip sesh, but the husband found out that the wife was doing ayahuasca in, like, a group. And she wants to bring her children into that group.
No
because
way.
she's had, like, some spiritual awakening. And she
No,
wants her
children
to have
don't need that. Children do not need
So
that.
he's
at all.
there, like, literally speaking out about it, like, help me save my children.
Yeah, that's
this
mad.
one, I know it is crazy.
I can't believe I haven't heard about that.
That's what I was
Is
thinking.
it a recent thing?
Yeah.
Oh.
Because I don't, like, my Instagram, my social media is just, like, literally fitness and business. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know how I heard about that either, but I think maybe because the algorithm knows I've Googled ayahuasca before, it's, like, telling me. But, yeah, it's so interesting. Anyways, yeah, so you've not tried ayahuasca. You've tried a lot, though, and, like, were crystals kind of the...
So my mum, she was speaking to one of her friends about me and was like, I just basically don't know how to help. And she recommended a crystal shop that is actually local to us. And we went there and I was talking to the lady and she was like, you need this, this and this. I was like, okay, that was it.
Yeah.
Went home, put them in my
She's
windowsill,
the
carried them
professional,
around
do
with
your
me,
job.
whatever.
Yeah.
And then I started to feel better.
Really?
And I was like, huh? Like,
What's changed?
yeah, like, what's going on? Because
Yeah.
for so many years I struggled, and then to feel so different instantly, I was like, okay, like, what is this about? So I started researching crystals, how they worked, everything about them, and then from there I was like, okay, like, this is something that actually helps me. So I would go to crystal shops, I would do collabs with brands on Instagram for crystals, not for my personal gain, but it was more of a thing of sharing them with my followers. Like, it gave me more to work with, if that made sense.
Yeah, but
to
also
show them-
like a means of connection. Like this
Yeah.
is, I've been struggling with this. Like you share us, like, I don't know how much you were sharing about your struggles and stuff, but maybe it was just a case of like,
this is what's helped me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how it started. And I'll never forget it. One of my followers at the time actually messaged me and was like, why haven't you started your own crystal brand? Because all I would share was like spirituality, crystals, astrology, zodiac signs, like everything. And I was like, And someone actually said to me years ago, they said I should start a glasses brand because I was known for wearing my glasses.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, that's never me. Like, never. Because that's not my thing. I wear glasses because I need them to see. Do you know what I mean? Like...
Yeah, but you need crystals.
Yeah,
to
but
keep
it's
yourself
different.
sane.
It's a different passion. Do you know what I mean? I'm not passionate about glasses.
Yeah, it's true.
And I kind of said to him, oh, yeah, like, maybe one day. But I didn't really think anything of it. And then I was in the shower. I'm a Scorpio, so, you know, Scorpios are water signs, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I knew that.
No, you didn't.
No.
So Scorpios
You've probably
are water
told
signs.
me a number of times.
Yeah.
But this is why you're here. You keep reminding me of this stuff. Scorpios are water signs.
Yeah, so
Okay.
I do my best thinking around water, lakes, like in the bath, in the shower. Like, I'm very intuitive, but also I get really good, like, intuitive thoughts when I'm around water.
Okay.
And I was in the shower where I do my best thinking. And I just thought, I'm going to start a crystal brand. And this was like, I'm talking like months after this follower had said this to me. I was like, yeah, fuck it, I'm just going to do it. Sorry, can I swear?
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, fuck it, I'm going to do it. Like, bearing in mind, I'm not a business gal. Like, I did business at school, don't get me wrong, I did well, but...
It was never really, like, on the cards.
It's not for me. Like, maths isn't my strong point. Like, do you know what I mean? Like...
We know that.
Yeah.
We know.
So, I'm dyslexic, so...
So am I. I feel like every next person is.
Well, I'm dyslexic, dyscalculia, and dyspraxic.
I knew that
so
one.
I'm a triple
You're
threat.
a lot of things.
Yeah, I'm a triple threat. Yeah, so I was in the shower and I thought, yeah, fuck it, I'm going to do it. And that was it. I literally had the idea. I went to bed. I was scrolling on Instagram, as you do. And an ad came up for a crystal healing course. And I applied that.
Oh, wait. Because I was just thinking, like, I don't remember this story. I don't think I've ever actually asked you how my sacred soul was born.
No.
Like,
I mean, you can read about it on my website, but...
Yeah, I don't think I've ever been onto your website. Plug for her website.
Sorry, did you just say you've never been on my website?
Is it the same as your shopping?
Yeah.
Like your oh, then of course I've been on your website. Oh, I usually just get caught up in looking at the beautiful crystals. I don't read words.
I just you can't see them, they're not there.
I'm just there to look at the pretty crystals because they are beautiful.
Yeah, they are.
They honestly are. And I like how much you know about crystals is crazy.
I mean, ask me general knowledge, no idea. Ask me who the president is, no idea. Yeah.
Wait,
no, we don't have a president.
In my head, I was thinking, is that not in the American?
Yeah, okay.
We're just girls.
Maybe take that
we
bit
talk
out.
about girly things. No, we're keeping it in because this is a safe space. This is a girly podcast. We don't need to know about presidents. We need to know about crystals and healing and pink cardigans.
And pink.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's crazy how much knowledge you have about crystals, but it's your profession. How many years have you been? How many years has My Sacred Soul been?
2021.
I thought he was going to say 20 years old. I was going to say honey.
2021.
2021. So there's 4 years? Or it will be this year?
It will be in August.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. The bridal coach is in July, so maybe we can have a joint birthday party.
That's so cute.
We're going to have to do something to celebrate.
A pink cake.
Pink cake.
With
oh my
bows.
goodness, yeah.
Yeah, cute.
Very cute. We'll plan it. Yeah, so 4 years almost. And what was, like, the journey from, like, it started in the shower, the idea, but then how do you even know, like, how to start a crystal business?
Well, back then ChatGPT ran around.
Yeah.
So I was fucked.
We made it work.
No, so we
actually had to use our brains back then.
Yeah, so what did I do?
You bought the course?
I bought the course.
Yeah.
I went to my mum and dad. I said, this is what I'm going to do. I was like, this is my actionable steps. I had a whiteboard and everything of all the things that I had to think about. Guaranteed I left a million things off that, but I had the basics.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. This is my plan. My mum and dad said, yeah, go for it. Like, there was no question. There was literally no question at all. And I think my mum and dad always kind of knew that I was a little bit different, you know? Like, I just live life for me kind of thing.
And they supported your influencer journey. Like,
yeah, so they just wanted to see me happy.
Yeah.
And they know that I love helping people. So they were like, yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
So I literally did the course. I passed with distinction, which was also a really big thing because I dropped out of my A-levels. I don't know if you know this either.
I did know this.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I dropped out of my A-levels and I hated studying, like, with a passion. Like, anything where I had to read a book and learn something, no chance, it wasn't happening. So for me to actually have to study and do assessments and exams to pass this course was a really, really, really big deal. And I did it. But it was because I was interested in it.
You were passionate about it.
Yeah, like, I'm not going to go learn about, like, accounting.
Yeah.
But if you give me a book about something that I'm interested in, I will soak the whole thing up. So I literally did my course, said to my mum and dad, this is what I'm doing. I had to think of a name. I don't know if I've actually ever told you this, but I had a reading with one of my followers on Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah, so I had a reading with one of my followers on Instagram.
Wait, what does that mean then for people who literally have no idea? Because, I mean, I've got an image in my head of what you mean, but I actually think I might be wrong. So what does a reading mean?
So the way this reading worked was that it was messages from spirit.
Okay.
But for this particular girl, her process was she just felt, basically whatever she felt and whatever she heard, she just told you. There was no like set questions, or there was no card, nothing. It was just whatever you needed to know came to her.
So wait, I want to know like actual details. You messaged her saying I want a reading?
Yeah, so she was influencer friend's sister.
Wait.
So one of my friends, who was also an influencer, I say influencer loosely.
Yeah.
It was her sister.
Right.
And she did readings, so I asked
You knew her before? You knew that she did like...
Yeah. I knew she did readings. I never had one with her before, but I was in a low point, and I just thought, yeah, okay, I'll have one. So she sent me voice notes and everything, and she basically said that she could envision my spirit guides chanting around me, "You're a beautiful, blessed, sacred soul." And I wrote all of this down in my notes. Like, I was listening to her voice notes, so I was writing it all in my notes. Long story short, I was trying to pick a name with my mum and dad and my sister, and they were like, Kira's Crystals, like crystal magic. And I was like, I don't want my name in it.
Yeah.
I don't want crystals in the name, because I don't know what this will turn into one day. Like, I want to be able to branch out. Like, you know, I want to offer more maybe one day.
Yeah.
And so we were trying to come up with names, and you know me, I'm a fussy girl. Do you know what I mean?
For sure.
So I was like, I know what I want, and I was like, no, I don't like that, I don't like that, I don't like that. I went on my notes, like genuinely just clicked on my notes app, and Sacred Soul was in bold from where I'd written her reading, but I hadn't made that bold.
That was the only part that was bold?
The only part. And I said to my mum and dad, Sacred Soul. And they were like, that's really nice. And then I added the my because my mission has always been to help people on their journey. It's all about them, their journey, their story, their healing journey. So I liked the fact that it was my sacred soul, because everyone's soul is sacred, right?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and it was literally like, from that second, that was the name, done. All I had to do was create a logo.
I've got goosebumps.
Yeah, it was so weird. But that's how I came with the name.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
I love it even more now. Like, now I know
got
the
meaning
story
behind it.
Yeah. Because, like, yeah, oh my gosh. That's crazy.
Yeah. I'm very intuitive, and I think when I started, I didn't know how to use that gift to help people. I knew that's what my business was almost based on, but I hadn't quite worked out how to use it, how to share it. And I think along the journey, I've really mastered, like, everything I do comes from an intuitive point of view. So someone can message me and they could say, I'm feeling this, or I've been through this, or I want something for this, and my intuition will guide me to what they need. Whereas right at the beginning, I was probably more logical than intuitive.
Yeah.
And I probably doubted myself a lot with having that inner knowing of, like, this is what they need. Whereas now, I don't question it.
Probably because you had your masculine head on, where you was like, I'm building a business now.
But also back then, I didn't really know anything about, like, masculine or feminine energies.
Yeah.
Whereas now,
looking back now, do you think that that's maybe why? You weren't
definitely.
in touch with your feminine.
It was almost like a rule book and wanting to get it right.
Yeah, because you're starting a business, like you're launching something
it's scary.
brand new. It is, yeah.
It's terrifying.
It's very logistical.
Yeah.
Because there are so many things that you have to put into place to even start. And then once you've started, then you can build on that.
Yeah.
And then that's where the actual business is built on the inside. But at the beginning, yeah, you got to have your masculine head on.
And also, I think there was a lot of pressure because I was still doing my Instagram at the time.
Right.
So it was like, you know, when an influencer comes out with something new, everyone's eyes are on it. And it was scary. Like, it was really, really scary to, like, you know, get it right, get it perfect.
Yeah.
But luckily, a lot of my followers came for that spiritual side of me. So naturally, they navigated to my new thing.
Because then you had, like, 2 Instagrams that you was posting on.
Oh my God, it was a lot.
It was a lot. For sure. So you were still posting on Kira Gill page and then on my Sacred Soul page?
Yep, I was doing both. It was basically running it was running two businesses. It was hard.
Were you still doing influencer stuff, like brand collaborations and stuff like that?
I was still doing everything, and I couldn't do it both. I
No.
couldn't. And I knew I would get to a point where it was almost like, okay, where am I going with this? And I think it was literally, I hit 100k, and I think I always had that in my head to drive me to almost get up and work, kind of thing.
Goal, and then it was like,
and I hit that goal. I'd launched my business, and then I was conflicted between, okay, who am I? Because for so many years I lived an Instagram life, but also, what the hell am I doing? Because they're two conflicting things. One is you show up and you're perfect, which let's be honest, no one is, and you just show the best bit.
It's easy to show that on Instagram,
right? And the other one is real and raw. And where on my Instagram, I always shared both on my feed and my stories. A lot of people didn't see that.
Yeah, it's a lot. Like, did you feel pressure to hold like a certain image on your Kira Gill page?
Definitely. And I think also because when I was out and about, I would get recognised.
Really?
Yeah, so many times.
Really?
So many times. So I would go to IKEA, and like people that were serving me were like, "Oh, you're Kira Gill."
No way.
And I'm such an awkward person. I would just laugh because I'm like, what? Like this isn't normal.
How many times? How many times did you get recognised?
Yeah, quite a lot, I'm not going to lie.
Really?
I remember I was walking out of my road once and someone shouted my full name at me.
No.
And I was like, you know where I live? Yeah, like, that was a point where I was like, okay, like,
You ever had
weird.
any, like, scary situations or, like, stalker situations? I feel like we would have maybe spoken about this,
People... So one thing I did learn is that you never post where you are while you're there.
No, my
right?
gosh, yeah.
We used to do that because we were at events.
Okay.
And it was kind of like
influencer events?
Yeah, or like events or PRs. It was that kind of thing. And I would have people turn up and then they wouldn't approach me because I think I'm an approachable person, but I also know that when I'm just zoned out, like, I'm not approachable. Like, don't talk to me.
Bitch face.
Yeah, but it's not intentional. Like, if you came over to me, I would smile.
Everyone's got a resting bitch face. I think
And
so.
I remember they wouldn't come over, but then when I left and I looked at my DMs, I had, like, messages from them.
Saying what?
I don't think I'm going to repeat them. But I'll tell you later.
No, to give us, like, no, everyone's going to be like,
they were
what?
from guys.
Okay.
But,
like,
like
talking, saying
yeah, like, just
kind of,
basically, like,
what?
just trying to make a move. But I'm like, you've clearly found where I am, have come all this way, and you've not approached me. You've sent me a DM after I've left. Like, it's giving weird.
You know, but it's also, like, you know, part of me wanted to be like, man up, like, go out there and say hello. But then also, no, that's so weird.
Yeah, because I think I'd have probably cried.
100%. Like, what? That is...
No, it was...
So you didn't know that they were there at the time, but when they messaged you when you
when
were
I
there...
left. And that happened a lot. Yeah.
Like, same people?
No, different people.
Different people?
Yeah.
You had loads of admirers.
Wild.
And one of those admirers, he stayed.
Is now my fiancé.
Oh my gosh.
I think I was actually his admirer.
Yeah, wait.
Because I messaged
Let's
him.
rewind that a little bit. Did you not, like, work together?
Yeah, but I messaged him first before we worked together.
Oh, because you fancied him?
Yeah, you could say that.
But is that why you messaged him? I thought it was for work.
No.
Oh,
So
Kira Gill, you've not been honest with me. It's all coming out now.
No, so I messaged him and we just hit it off generally.
Yeah.
Like,
But you were talking about work stuff, no?
no, just everyday life.
Why have I got it in my head that he was like your photographer or something for a brand?
No, he had a
something?
brand at the time.
And you was doing stuff for
and
his brand?
I did something for his brand during lockdown.
Okay.
And I did it as a freebie because I just thought, yeah, like, why not? Fine. So
You can take me for a drink afterwards.
no, I had no intention. That's the worst part. Is I genuinely didn't. It was just
You're too
literally based off the fact that he seemed like a nice guy. And every now and then I would do things for like. I'm not going to say that I charge like. I'm not saying I charged extreme prices because I didn't.
You didn't hear what I said?
Well, no, I just chose to ignore it. But every now and then I'd be like, yeah, it's fine. Like if it was easy,
Yeah.
I'd be like, yeah, that's fine. I'll just do it.
Yeah.
Because I almost wanted to help people.
Wait, pause.
What?
If it was easy, this man lived 2 hours away from you.
Yeah, but he sent it me in the post.
Oh,
So it was fine.
I thought you had to travel there.
No.
Okay,
So
that's fine.
I modelled for his gym brand
Oh.
And I posted the picture.
Yes.
And then this is where my intuition is just strong, because whenever I would get sent stuff, I would either donate it, give it to friends, give it to family, because I got a lot of stuff and I'm not a wasteful girl, like, do you know what I mean? It's going to go to other people.
Yeah.
So I did a picture for him in a t-shirt. It was a gym t-shirt. When have you ever seen me wear a t-shirt?
No.
Yeah, like never. That would never happen. But I did it, and for some reason I hung it up in my wardrobe, right? Without even logic, using no logic at all. I hung it up in my wardrobe, knowing full well I would never wear it again.
Sprayed it with his aftershave?
No, it was just nothing, literally nothing. And I just thought, yeah, okay, cool, like, hang it up, didn't look at it again.
That's a rookie move, by the way. He should have sprayed it with his aftershave before he sent it to you.
Well, yeah, but to this day I still have that t-shirt.
Wow.
And I don't know why I hung on to it when literally I'd never met the guy. We had spoken, but it was very, very brief. And there was nothing like flirty about it or like anything romantic at the time. It was genuinely like a work thing.
Right.
So I think my intuition always knew.
You've got a strong intuition.
I do.
And now he's your fiancé. What's that, 4 years later?
Yeah, 4 years later.
When did you meet?
So this was still 2021.
So had you started My Sacred Soul then?
Yeah, and he actually bought from My Sacred Soul, bearing in mind,
he?
having no clue about crystals, no idea what they were.
Did you do like voodoo on his crystals?
No, I didn't. I gave him one for bad vibes,
this
though.
one is for falling in love. This one, I'm going to cut some of my hair off and burn it.
That's literally not how it works.
I feel like...
No, I gave him one for protection, so it just let all the bad eggs fly away.
Yeah, make space for you.
Yeah.
I love
I'm here,
that.
I'm waiting.
So that was My Sacred Soul had started, and then you were still doing brand stuff. So this is where like the
crossover happened.
Yeah, between like influencer life and then business life. But then when did that like influencer life stop? The way that you know it now, because you still have a lot of followers.
I do, and I know I've lost a lot of them as well, because I'm not the same person that they followed, which is fine. That doesn't bother me, but also I know the ones that have stayed are because they resonate with who I am now. Like, it's never that deep, do you know what I mean? And
isn't it mad though how like a lot of people are genuinely just following for this aesthetic?
Yeah, but then also I do love aesthetics.
I do too, because I'm thinking about like all the women that I follow for fashion advice and fashion advice. This is my fashion 24/7. No, but I'm actually so interested. Like, I love it. I always say if I wasn't a personal trainer, I would either be an estate agent, so I could dress up like...
so random.
Wait, I'm not talking about like just little estate. I'm talking like I would live in
like
LA, like Beverly Hills. Yeah, that kind.
Fine.
So like they wear like...
be Emma.
I see. I don't watch that stuff. Is that a compliment,
or
is that? No, that's not a compliment.
Take
is
it as you wish.
I don't know. I'm gonna take that as a compliment then. Emma's beautiful. She's got a banging body.
She's blonde and she has got a banging body.
Yeah, but is she a bitch? Let's leave it there.
No comment.
I would be an estate agent. I would be a lovely, non-bitchy estate agent in Beverly Hills. Or I've forgotten what the other thing is. What else would I be? I think that's it.
A barista.
No.
She makes 10 out of 10 coffee, guys.
Wait, this is actually a funny story, because this morning I met my dad for breakfast. By the way, I showed up. This man was in a full-on suit.
What?
A double-buttoned suit, right? I walked through the door. It's
Where
like
did you go?
I went to Hatch.
Oh.
So, 10 out of 10 food. Coffee today wasn't great. However, it made up for it. Let me show you the actual coffee. The artwork.
Am I going to be scared?
No.
Oh, that's cute. What is that, a swan?
Yeah, with a love heart head.
Yeah, that's really cute.
So this came, and this is a picture
and
of
it
my
didn't
dad.
taste nice.
It was okay, but I got normal milk. This was my dad in his suit.
That is hilarious. Why is he in a suit?
Because he went out last night, and he hasn't been home.
Oh my god. Oh
the lady was like, "Can I help you?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm just looking for my dad." I was like, found him.
Oh my god, that is hilarious.
He buttoned his suit up. I was like, "Oh my god!" And he's here in a suit, and she just started laughing.
Don't tell him
stayed at his friend's house. I'm gonna make this live. I'm gonna show him this podcast. He's gonna be the first one to see it. But honestly, it cracked me up, because I was like,
That is so
If
your
this
dad
doesn't-
coded.
If this literally, wait, there was another picture of him. He cracks me up. To be fair, he looks like he hasn't slept as well. Look at him.
Oh, bless him, but he needed his coffee.
I was just staring at him like he was telling me the stories of the nights out. I just couldn't actually
looks
get
good,
over
though.
the fact. He doesn't look bad for maybe having a couple hours sleep, and yeah, it was hilarious. I wasn't expecting that. But yeah, back to the barista story. My coffee got delivered and I was like, how does he do, like,
Sorry,
who's
your
just
coffee got delivered.
yeah, to the table. Why is that funny?
Did it come in the post?
No,
Why
my
is it
coffee got delivered to the table. She bought it to the table. What should I say? The coffee got brought to the table.
My coffee came.
My coffee
She
came.
brought my coffee.
My coffee got delivered.
My coffee got delivered to the table where I was sat. Like, what?
Yeah, that is what happened.
That's just a very weird way to phrase it.
Well, I'm a weird person. My coffee got delivered to the table and I looked at it and I was like, oh my goodness, that's actually insane.
Yeah, that's really cute.
There was another time I went there. They did me a cartoon character. I don't know where it is.
You know, we're getting sidetracked.
I know, but I feel like everyone's here for it. I need to show you this other coffee picture because it's actually incredible. I need to learn how to make it. That's all I'm saying. Yes, my coffees taste good. Right now you're sat drinking a Starbucks coffee, so it can't be that good. Joking, it's my fault that we don't have coffee today. But, yeah, my coffees are pretty good, are they not?
Yeah, 10-10.
It's pretty basic, though. I need to get good at actual barista stuff, but you just
I
have
don't
a
care
basic.
for that
Yeah,
anyway.
you actually don't. What stopped you from posting what you was
So-
posting before on Kira Gill page? What did it just become like
I
too
almost
much and
went
everything
through-
fizzled out?
I basically hit a crossroad where it was like, okay, do I carry on with what I'm doing that I didn't want to do long term, that I wasn't really enjoying at that point because
Were you getting paid?
I was, but
Just getting paid.
it wasn't worth it, if I'm honest,
Yeah.
because there's so much pressure to look picture perfect, to be
Yeah.
a certain way, to have the latest this, jump on a trend. Like, oh my God, it's exhausting.
Honestly.
And now I feel like the influencer world is completely different to
Yeah.
what it was back then.
In what way?
Like, when I did my Instagram, I kind of got in there before it was a thing.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Like,
yeah.
I was like there
At the
before it was
start of
actually
before
a
everything
thing.
blew up. Now every next person is an influencer.
Right, but
Yeah.
also now things are like so advanced. Like, you've got TikTok. Like, I'm not a TikTok girl.
No, you're
like
not.
you will never catch me on
I've
TikTok.
tried telling
it just
you so
doesn't
many
work.
times.
But
Try telling
there's so many different things you could do now, and so many brands, and there's like influencer marketing and like PR marketing and PR events and just all this stuff that wasn't a thing then. And like a lot of the girls that I was friends with at the time, they had like vision boards of like brands they wanted to work
Brand
with,
deals
like
and stuff.
trips that they wanted to go on. I didn't want any of that. I
Yeah.
could not think of anything worse. I
You're such a
literally
homebody as well.
got invited to so many events, and I would just say no to everything, to literally everything, because I just didn't care.
Yeah.
I genuinely
It
didn't.
wasn't
I wasn't
you.
in it for that reason.
No.
I wasn't bothered about the brand deals
I think you
and
definitely-
going further.
You fell into it as well.
I fell into it.
Like I think a lot of people start, and there's nothing wrong with this, but a lot of people start Instagram nowadays to be the influencer.
Yeah, whereas
They
I didn't want that.
title, whereas you fell into it, and I think that's the difference between Instagram 5 years ago and influencers 5 years ago. Is that
100%.
they just fell into it.
Because funnily enough, all the girls that kind of was in that with me, and we all kind of grew together, they don't do it now either.
Really?
Yeah, which is
Oh.
wild.
It
But
is.
it's almost like, I want to say, like a new generation of influencers that have like taken over. But the girls
Yeah.
that were kind of in like my circle, yeah, like,
Everyone fell off.
yeah, basically. But everyone's carried on with their normal lives.
Yeah.
It started during lockdown.
It really is weird actually, because like now speaking, me and you have been friends for like 2 years now, which is even weird to say because I feel
Yeah,
like I've
that
known
is
you for
very
20.
weird.
But like if I didn't know you and I like saw you on Instagrams, yeah, I would think like, oh my gosh, the followers, like the business, this, that, like she's an influencer. But behind these influencers there are real genuine lives.
Real
we
people.
all actually live the same
With
life.
like real life shit as well.
We all
Like,
live the same life.
That's
with just
also the
different
other
problems.
thing is like, because my mental health was so turbulent, then showing up online and being a certain way and like, you know, having to go shoot content but actually feeling like shit inside. That was the worst thing. And towards the end, that is how I felt every single day, because there was so much pressure to be a person that I wasn't anymore. When I started my Instagram I was, but I wasn't that girl anymore. And it really, really, really affected me to the point of, well, where do I go from here? Because I'm not the person that I was a few years ago. Bearing in mind, I started when I was practically a child, and then, 17 and 21, there's a gap. You grow so much. And it's even like little things. Like, I remember there was a comment that someone made, and it was by people that I used to go to school with, and they were like, oh, she's had a boob job.
What?
No. You're comparing me to when I was 16. Like, do you know how weird that is?
That is so
weird, right? So weird. Like, this is also another thing. I don't feel like people talk about... They said it to a friend that then told me.
Oh, okay.
But this is the thing that people don't talk about, is that you go through puberty, but then when you hit your 20s, as a woman, you almost go through puberty
like
again.
A second
because
puberty.
You go through your womanly change.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened to me. Like, I've always been a curvy girl, but yeah, I changed. My face changed. My body changed. And it's almost like you're doing it in front of people, so people think that they can comment and say, like Kylie Jenner, for example, they can say, oh, she's had this done, she's had that done. Yeah, she might have, but who cares?
Yeah.
It's her body. She's not telling anyone to go have it done. But the difference is I actually didn't have anything done. And people were saying, oh, she's had this, she's had that. No, I just grew into a woman, whereas when you first started following me, I was 17. It is hard. It's a hard thing to navigate, especially like when, you're taking pictures and stuff, and you're thinking like, oh my God, like, I don't look how I looked in this outfit 2 years ago. It's
that
tough. It really does affect you. And I think it got to a point where I hated taking pictures so much that I stopped. And then it got to a point where it was like, okay, well, I really do officially need to almost like hang up my heels and quit and focus on what I want to do, which is my sacred soul. But also at the same time, I had health issues as well. I had PCOS, and I didn't know I had PCOS. So it was a really, really, really hard thing to navigate. But because I shared so much of my life online, I almost felt like I owed people an explanation.
And people felt like they could comment.
But
just
also,
because you shared parts of your life, they feel like they know you.
But also, if I didn't post, people would be like, are you okay?
Yeah.
And even though they were asking in a lovely way, it's that pressure of, I don't want to tell you my life story when I'm navigating something that I had no idea I had.
Yeah.
And it's affecting my life in a million other ways. I'm not ready to share it. So I literally ghosted Instagram for like 2 years.
You don't know how that's then going to affect you.
No,
you don't know
not
like
at all.
what the repercussions of this are going to be like. And that's actually very probably relatable for a lot of people, not even just from an influencer perspective, but like even telling people what's going on in your life. From obviously you didn't know you had PCOS then, but even recently, and we'll talk about that, like when you were diagnosed with PCOS and endo.
Yeah, I know. Double whammy.
Like, I guess it kind of was a relief because you knew that something was up.
Yeah.
You just didn't know what. But then, yeah, it's like, I don't think you've shared that as much.
I haven't. I have made known that I have endo and I have PCOS, but right now, I don't share much of my life. I might share a few things. There might be times where I come online and I feel more vulnerable, but I'm also not the person that wants to share any of that anymore.
And I think that like you're still going through your journey with it.
100%. And don't get me wrong, I think it's great to raise awareness and to share things that have helped me in hopes that it helps other people.
Yeah.
But do I share my life the way that I once did? No. Because I am not that person anymore.
Yeah.
I have a very small circle. I don't really tell people much unless you're in my circle. I don't do small talk because it's pointless. I want to tell you my life story or I don't want to talk at all. There's no in between. But I just don't want to share that. Like, even on my sacred soul, my customers and my clients, they know I have PCOS and they know I have endo because I share crystals that have helped me. And I share that kind of side of it. But am I going to share my everyday struggles and what my symptoms are? No. But am I going to share that I've had laser to help with some symptoms and it's been amazing? Yeah.
Yeah.
But you don't need to know the ins and outs.
You do share stuff like when you go to Sook, for example, when you have, what's it called?
He's a
Acupuncture?
holistic practitioner, but he combines lots of different therapies, including acupuncture.
Yeah.
To basically bring the body back into alignment.
Okay. So can you name, like, what things specifically have you tried then to help with your endo, your PCOS, and also, like, mental health as well? Like, how's that journey been like, and what have you tried and what's worked for you?
So, starting from the beginning.
Yeah, if you want to.
Oh, God.